everybody. There we go. What's good, everybody? Gang, gang. All right, just want to give it a couple seconds to let everybody else join on to the call. I really wanted to make sure that we had everybody on before we begin. Let me take these headphones off. These things are crazy. All right, perfect. What's good, everybody? Obviously, I just wanted to jump onto the charts. I wanted to stay doing these sessions here on YouTube as much as I can, so that way I can obviously educate, answer any questions, and really build this community just based off the transparency, just based off the value that that can be given. Obviously, markup charts, really answer any and all questions that you guys have, and really show you guys some steps and show you how to be consistent when it comes to become profitable trading the Forex markets. Obviously, I'll also be looking at to play some trades if there is any. Obviously, these trades are going to go directly into our auto trader and for signals for students in the Discord as well. And I'll also be sharing some of those signals in our Discord. There is a link in the description, so that way you can actually join our free side of the Discord. So that way you guys can also get some value, stay updated with anything, and also be able to make profits in our community as well. My man TK, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? Good morning or good evening, good afternoon, no matter where you are in the world. What is good? All right, so I just jumped off of a session for our futures trading. And I'm not mad, but we did place a trade this morning, and is just continuing to rip to the upside. So seeing that is beautiful. Hopefully we had some students that were able to play some trades on that and hold that, so that way they could make the most out of their profits on that. But definitely a beautiful trading day. I'll go over the setup here in a bit. I do want to make sure that I'm taking a look at some Forex pairs. I'm also a little bit angry at that as well, because I was looking at, or we placed some trades in the auto trader. I'll actually transparently show you guys here in a second. And those continued to rip to the upside or to in our direction as well. And I closed out in profits, but I didn't want to hold those during the news or during this time, since we did have we're having some U.S. news, especially here in a little bit. It is risky to hold during that time, but it just kept ripping in our favor. So I definitely wanted to take a look at some of those markets to see if there is some potential re-entries that we can get into and identify some things as well. Let me see what we have in the chat real quick. My man TK said, "Was Gbpjpy? That signal was just on fire for the session." Yes, it was. It definitely was. We were able to identify a really good trade setup on this. Our targets were hit pretty quickly, but I didn't expect that, to be honest. I don't think any trader could tell the future that much, where you're like, yeah, let's just hold until it reaches to that point. But it's a beautiful thing. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Break this down and why I do believe that this is a strong buying factor. The same thing we actually went over this morning, exactly what we went over this morning. So I'll give you guys an idea and the reasoning on why this was such a positive trade. Again, our entries is down here. One of our students is actually in the chat going and explaining or saying how great that trade, how much of a trade that was. But I'll go over the reasoning on why this, even before news and even before the stock market even opened, this was such a solid trade setup, and why, or where I do believe this will continue to go. So real quick, as we take a look at this, let me go ahead and just full screen this so we have an understanding of the whole entire market. So the one thing I want to understand is I'm always going to go into a higher time frame to see the overall market and bias of what we should be looking at. The overall market and the overall bias is going to give you a stronger idea when you jump down to these smaller time frames. And let me just make sure you guys can't hear me, because sometimes I might be crazy. Okay, you guys can. All right, perfect. So the one thing I'm identifying is, no matter what I'm looking at, is I'm looking at the overall trend. And what I can see is that this market is extremely bullish. If we go from these lows to these highs, we can see that no matter what, this market has just been buying. And we can see that we're getting that continued idea when we look here. Right now, all gaps are supposed to be filled. I know a lot of people are saying, Jay, that gap has not been filled yet. It must be filled. That's not always the case. Not all gaps could or should be filled. So what we can see is that even here, there's a level of structure. So what I can see here is this. This structure is holding. We can see we're in a bullish market. So the probability is going to be, or the favorable idea is to the upside. Now, this isn't the most accurate level of structure, but what I'm doing is I'm identifying something important, where the market is having trouble from breaking through, and it can't break to the downside. And we can obviously see even up here, can't break to the upside. We're in this little range here, at least on this daily time frame at this aspect. But if I go ahead and I just identify, well, where would we want to buy from? We would probably find our better buys at a support range. So you're not going to sell at this area. You're going to identify characteristics of a potential buy setup. If we identify this, what can we see? Well, for one, we can see that level of structure being held. Two, we can see the wicks showing us rejection. So I'm going to draw this out real quick. Anytime I look at a market and I see a level of structure and I start to see the behavior of how the candlesticks are, or how the candlesticks are behaving there, such as small bodied candles or wicks to the downside, in this case at a level of support, that's going to show me that wicks equal rejection. And that's perfectly fine with me, right? If wicks equal rejection, that could tell me that sellers are no longer welcome and buyers could be taking over. And we're still in the daily time frame. We're trying to identify the overall idea, so that when we jump to a smaller time frame and we see more detail, we can feel confident in a trade setup, kind of like what we did today. Well, exactly what we did today. Now, I'll delete this for now. I'll keep the structure here. Now, the one thing I want, and this is before, I'll actually just delete this because this wasn't in the picture when we were identifying the market this morning. Now, at this point, there's really not much you could really say or put. I mean, you could possibly put a trend line if you want to add some more factors to the upside, right? You can add that idea. But when I'm looking at a market that's not giving us the best ideas, such as this little consolidation or a big consolidated area, if you will, you have to try to identify the clues that are being left behind from the market. So me seeing this, I'm not really getting much. But when we scale to the 1 hour time frame, and this is again before this candle was even here, so let me get rid of this really quick. Yes, we can delete that. And I'll go ahead and replay that some more. We were looking at this, right? We were looking exactly like this, with this exact candle showing us what was going to be the next deciding factor. Can anybody see what I see? Again, we're at a level of structure. On a higher time frame, it was showing us wicks to the downside, showing us that buyers are starting to take control and sellers are losing momentum. The one thing I am identifying, the one thing I always teach students, and it's also important because TradingView does in fact have this tool, is we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern. So that inverted head and shoulders pattern was just a very early indication of that strong bullish move. And when we're looking at this, I'm like, the one trick I do understand about a head and shoulders pattern is anytime you're looking at this, and again, in case you can't see, this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. We are at a level of structure that is telling me something important. So when I can identify something like this, the one thing I'm saying is, damn, where's the best potential area where this market is most likely going to buy from? Right at that left shoulder price. Here's a tip, because I know a lot of people are probably like, huh? Anytime, and I'll do this in the inverted head and shoulders idea. The reason why you have a head and shoulders pattern in the first place is because you're trending in a direction. So the market has made a lower low, a lower high, and is now broken structure to create this new lower low. But what ends up happening is you're supposed to see the market break and retest and continue to push down lower, but it doesn't. What it ends up doing is it comes right back within that price. The reason being is the head of a pattern is considered a fake out, meaning that there is no true sellers and the market was never intending on going to that low in the first place. So it's going to come back to reach a level of structure and be like, you know what? I don't want to be on this side of the fence anymore. The grass is no longer greener here, it's over here. Where's the best area for me to eventually make my move from then? It's going to reach that left shoulder price because that is the true level of structure and price that was supposed to be respected but was not. So when you reach this level of structure, you should be identifying some characteristics of a potential entry from there, right? So when we saw this on the 1 hour time frame, just a tip in case anybody didn't know that, when we scaled down to the 1 minute time frame, because we were trading futures, right? We were identifying this in the futures market. We were actually over here. I'll go ahead and replay this. We were literally right here, because I remember the reasoning on why we bought this. So I was looking for initial buys because after a strong move to the downside, there should be a corrective move. But everything on the higher time frame is what led us to this point. Right? This is why it's important for you to understand the overall idea, because you can catch the bigger move. I understood that buyers should be taking over. Now, where's the best place where buyers will be making their move? Well, even on a smaller time frame, you use those same ideas, those same tactics, such as structure and price, technical analysis, such as Fibonacci's, trend lines, candlestick patterns. What we're identifying is this market broke above this previous level of structure right here, and it came back to test that level of structure. Same thing you would do on a higher time frame. And what ended up happening at that level of structure? Let me make this look a little bit better. Right? I can see that level of structure right there is important. Why? Because it was resistance before and it broke out of. Now, one of the reasons, or the main reason why we bought this, is because not only did we reach this level of structure again, I'll zoom in, we made a wicks to the downside. Again, like I always say, those are one of the biggest things I'm always looking for. wicks equal rejection. And we also have a double bottom here, being these 2 points, here and here. And as we had that double bottom, we closed with a bullish engulfing candle, being here. So we ended up placing our entries, if I'm correct, roughly around that area, and our stop loss right below that point. Now, if you're trading Forex, you want to talk about a risk reward that any account can grow. This will be one of those trades. And our take profit was just at this level of resistance. This is why I'm laughing, because as you see, it just ripped up much higher. But when we had that double bottom at that level of structure, it was an immediate idea, especially based off the idea of the higher time frames, for a strong buy. And I ended up getting out right there. So, and I know a few students got out too, but as you see, it immediately ripped up, and it's continuing. The reason why I'm explaining this is, one, because I know a lot of you guys saw that right before we jumped on, there was an entry on this, but also because this is something that we can identify for a continuation, right? I'll go ahead and stop the replay there. So we can identify either a continuation to the upside, or even if we look at this right now, maybe those buyers are no longer welcome because we are back at structure. Now we're at a level of resistance. So can we look for potential sells from here? Possibly. We would do the same thing on the that we would do here at a level of resistance as we did at that support range, right? Same exact thing. Identify a specific level of price, identify the actions that proceed at that level of price. That's why this is called price action trading. You want to see where the market has made a move from before, because it's probably going to make a move from there again. So that's kind of like what I'm looking at here. I do like the idea that we are at this strong level of resistance. So let's go ahead and write that down. I love how perfect that transition. We were able to talk about the initial trade, the setup, how we got in, and a potential setup that's happening right before our eyes that we could look for a potential entry here. So let me go ahead and put strong sell area. Now, we're not going to immediately go ahead and place a trade here because, one, we do have news coming out actually very shortly, and two, this is still representative of the stock market open candle. So the volatility in this candle is still kind of making up its mind. Right now, we could still be very bullish. But next thing you know, when this new hourly candle opens, when the news is released, next thing you know, that shit could immediately either sell or push up higher. We don't know. This is why it's important to practice patience with trading and allow all of your setups to actually come about as well. So yeah, that's just me going over a trade that we went over or you placed today. We also, right now, as we looked over that as a review, there is a potential trade set up here as well for a potential sell. I do like that. So if we do look for if this does look like a good entry, I'll go ahead and I'll let you guys know what we're doing with this. But yeah, I am looking at the chat. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. I am taking a look. I got my phone right here. I got another computer screen up there. I'm looking everywhere. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll definitely make sure that I answer that to the best of my abilities. I do also want to say thank you guys. I'm very grateful for you all being on today. I'm trying to grow this community based off of transparency, true value, and profits as well. So I want to build this organically. I really want to make sure that in every session that is given, everybody is learning something, that you're leaving with a piece of knowledge that you didn't have before, that you could take and implement into your own individual trading, so that way you could be a consistently profitable trader as well. That's all I care about. So if you have learned something, if you do like these sessions, if you want me to continue doing these, simply do me just one favor: like the video. Just helps out a lot. I really want to grow and reach to other to other areas and really make sure that I can impact people's lives in a positive manner. So if you could do that, bang bang, perfect. If not, let me know what other markets you want to take a look at. If you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. If not, I'll go take a look at some other markets. I'll see if there's any trades. I do want to take a look at gold actually before anything, because we were in a trade here on gold. Definitely should have held those buys. I'll actually show you guys right here. So we're in buys. This is our auto trader, and I was just looking our entries. I can actually just show you if I'm correct. Let me see. Yeah, it'll show you like a little line. So I had buys down here, and I closed out right before news because I just, again, it's not worth having the risk. But I mean, that was definitely a beautiful trade. So I do want to take a look at this on TradingView. Yeah, 145. That would have hit our targets. Our targets were up here. Literally, our targets were right there. So yeah, our targets would have been hit. And again, just for transparency, these are the trades for today. In our auto trader, these are all just personally placed by me. Not every trade is going to win, but I always try to catch a big move. The bigger the move, the more profits it is. So I always let runners run, but I always try to keep it risk-free as possible. But the reason why we're looking at this is because same thing we're looking at with Nas, we can have the same idea here with gold. Now, I'm not going to place any trades on this as of yet because, again, news is coming out, but we're right back at that range high. Just a very simple concept, right? We can actually extend this range high a little bit further to the left. Just a very simple concept when it comes to trading. I do think that a lot of individuals, they get caught up with these strategies where you have break of character and break of this and change of this. There's no need. You identify where the market has made a move from before, and you just try to make a move from there again. So just say, and this is, I'm saying this in the most respectful way, use common sense. Don't try to overload your brain with all these crazy strategies and once the market does this, this isn't that. No, it shows you what it's going to do, right? If I can see that the market has sold from this range high before because it is bought from this range low. So, I mean, as you see, this is an actual trade that I had placed for everybody in the auto trader, tracked on FX book and everything. Like you can't miss it. We bought from the range low, nothing complicated, right? There's no real reason as far like any other real reason. Did I need a Fibonacci for this? No. Or that's not even a Fibonacci. But did I need a tool for that? No. Did I need any crazy strategy? Absolutely not. I just identified that we were at the range low, and I can see that at this range low previously, we have bought from there before. So what is most likely, probability, is going to happen again if we reach that point? It's probably going to look for buys. Very simple. That is the reason why we bought this. And the reason why I'm looking at this right now is because I wanted to see if our targets were hit, because this is the range high. Right? So range high. This being the range high, that could be a sell area. And this is just the range low. So that could be your buy area. And which either end is broken. So if the market just wants to break above that level of resistance and structure, we now have the idea, right, that buyers are taking over and they are more prominent in this market, and we should be looking for continued buys. But check this out. Let's say if you did buy from here and it broke to the upside, your entry is so good. Now all you have to do is hold that trade on for dear life and to your next target zones. Now, I did take profits for students, again, just to keep it risk-free, but in the essence of how you would trade, that's a very simple approach. So not difficult whatsoever. As far as the next potential idea that we're looking at here for gold, this would be a potential sell area. Now, again, when it gets to these areas, I'm not just looking at structure points and then that's it. There are some other factors as far as confirmations for entry is concerned, but this would be a strong range high or strong sell area, if not broken. Very simple, right? Nothing crazy. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you have any other markets that you would like for me to take a look at, also let me know. I want to make sure. Okay, there we go. I'm not placing anything on this as of yet. I do want to wait for this market to kind of show us a little bit more of its identity, show us what it really wants to do. But gold is definitely setting up for a potential sell. And with these markups, I'll be sure to post these markups here in the Discord for you all as well. I'll make sure somebody didn't get their email. I'll make sure I'll go ahead and post these charts here in the Discord as well. If you are not a part of the Discord, there is a link there that should be, you should be able to join our free Discord. I'll go ahead and post the links to our charts. So that way you have the analysis, you know exactly what I'm looking for. And you could use that to your own trading as well. So if you're like, oh shit, it kind of matches, Jay's chart kind of matches with what I'm looking at. Like, I might want to take that trade. The confluence is there. We're looking at the same thing. You could use that for your own individual trading. So this is what I'm looking at, but I'm going to put no trade yet, actually. Just a very simple concept. You know what I mean? No trade yet, but I mean, if I immediately place that trade, look at that drawdown. Be no drawdown in that area of structure, right? Just a very simple way of trading. Now, obviously, especially right now, you're not going to be placing anything because, especially now, news just came out or somebody, Powell, the Fed chair, is speaking. So with them speaking, the markets can get a little volatile, get a little crazy here shortly. Hasn't seen anything just yet, but this market can just immediately go into its own little way. So just keeping it very risk-free. But as you can kind of see, if you place your entry there, that would have been a great spot. So yeah, if you guys have anything, feel free to let me know. If not, let me take a look at some other charts. This is also a trade that we're in for GU. Another concept, guys. How easy can trading be? Why did I place a buy here on Gbpjpy USD in our auto trader? I'll just go ahead and map that out. That's right here. It was a little late. As you can see right here, this is the actual entry. I closed out here again because of news. Don't want to carry on trades while there's a high risk or high level folder news event that is going to happen. Because again, if I'm in profits, and even though I'll move my stop loss to a break-even fashion, I want to make the most out of my profits. I want to make the most out of my trade. So making $5 is probably not the best, but if I can make 20, 30 pips, absolutely. Especially with some individuals, trading with standard lot sizes, those 30 pips, that's still a good day. But right now, the same reason why we were looking at gold for a potential buy or for the actual buy, we were at this range level. Just understanding what the market is giving me, just using the clues. Now, yes, this market is still very much kind of like, I would say, in a selling direction, more selling pressure. But when you're not creating lower lows and you're not creating higher highs, you're just keeping that same structure here. You can't really identify a trending market whatsoever. So what you would do is you're just going to use those structure points as your guides, as your entries. So again, why did we buy? Just a very simple concept. Didn't need a Fibonacci tool, did not need a trend line, did not need any of those other technical factors. But what I am going to do right now is I'm going to add this level of structure here, and I do want to add this trend line, see if that could be a factor for a potential sell. Actually, no, I don't like that trend line whatsoever. Actually, I thought maybe that might work. Let me scale down to at least a 30 and 15 minute time frame. Yeah, don't like that at all. So I'm gonna remove that. So my honest opinion, even now, this is still very much bullish. We can see that buyers do in fact want to take over, at least for now, because even though with this candle just opening 2 or 3 minutes ago, that wick to the downside is showing that sellers tried it and buyers are taking over. So I would look for continued buys even here on GU. So it does seem as if the dollar, the US dollar, is not strong. So what we should be looking for is maybe continued buys on gold, continued buys on GU, and continued buys on like a market like Euro USD. It's with saying that, let's take a look at USD-JPY. I'm just looking at charts, looking at everything. Nobody has asked a question. Nobody's giving me a chart to look at. So I'm just going over some random things, seeing if there is any potential ideas, because I am going to be using this time on these sessions to identify the best trade setups for legacy students. So that way I can give them a signal and obviously put that trade in the auto trader for them. So I just want to also make sure that with those trades being given to them, that the education, the analysis, the breakdown behind it is also given. So that way everybody understands exactly how to place that trade if you want to trade on your own. But taking a look at USD-JPY, I do like this this sell. Oh, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm over here telling you guys that I'm showing you guys my MT4, and you guys couldn't even see my MT4 if I'm correct, the way that I have it set up. That's unfortunate. I do apologize about that. I completely forgot about that. Let me see. Yeah, when I pull up my MT4, I don't think you guys can see it. Yeah, I think I can fix that. Hold up. Web capture, screen capture. Let me see something. Ah, there we go. That's probably why. Let me see if I fix that for us. There we go. Now you guys can see the MT4. I'm pretty sure it will just be the MT4, but there you go. I was over here showing you guys the whole MT4. It wasn't even showing anything, but there you go. That is the MT4, the transaction histories for today. All the trades, as you see, like this is the gold trade here. That was speaking on the from the buy, from these lows to that high. And then also, just like I was speaking, the GU trade as well, that I was just speaking on. I did not even notice that you guys couldn't even see the MT4. Let me go ahead and fix that. But you guys should be able to see the transaction history there. So just 110 pips caught for the day for everybody, hands-free. Not the best day. I mean, I try to at least get 150, 200 pips a day. Can't always promise that, but at least consistency and profits you can't really complain about. But now, oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we're back on or trading view to see if there's a potential trade set up. Now, as I'm looking at this, I am liking the potential shorts, the potential sells here on USD-JPY, being the fact that if the US dollar is not as strong as it should be, that can give us a strong idea that even the yen pair will have at least a corrective move. So I might be looking at some USD/JPY sells here shortly. No trade on this as of yet. Obviously, for me, if I was to sell, I would like to sell from these highs. That's just a better risk to reward. I always like to place a trade where the market is going to, like, if my stop loss is not as much, right? If I'm able to place a trade there, my stop loss is not going to be all the way up here. My stop loss will be 15, 20 pips max. Because right now there's nothing to the left that I could judge it off of. And also, if it does break those highs, the chances of it continuing higher already in a bullish market is extremely high. So I want to mitigate my risk, and what I would get out of that, as I wouldn't say as soon as possible, I'm still giving my trade some room to breathe, but I would rather have a 20 pip stop loss hit instead of a 50, 60 or more, right? So I may be looking at a potential setup, at least at this entry, at these highs. This would be the prime entry. And even where we're currently at right here, because even on a smaller time frame, that's a break and a retest of structure. You can see that right here. Just a very simple concept. Obviously, again, as I'm looking for my entries, I will add more confluence and more technical factors to confirm that, okay, that does look like a good spot for us to enter. But right now, not so much. Especially when you have something, the only thing I could really think of is maybe, and I don't ever really do this, is maybe drawing a trend line that close to your impulse and seeing that break. That's probably the only other technical analysis that I would add to this as of right now. If it does give us, at least on another time or a smaller time frame, let me make sure that's perfect. There we go. If on, let's say, the 15, actually we can actually add this on the 15 now. We can add a Fibonacci retracement tool here. Now I'm going to go from these swing highs to this swing low. Now, if you're wondering why my fib is not up here, is because anytime you are using a Fibonacci, and I'll actually just draw it out to make it look easier. Let's say even if you're looking at something like this, you can't use a Fibonacci in a trending or a ranging market, rather a small consolidated move where there has been no impulse and or correction. But you can see that this is the start of that impulse. This is its correction. So I must have an accurate measurement with my Fibonacci by using it from the actual start of the impulse. And if you're like, but Jay, that's still kind of weird. This is its own individual impulse. This is its own individual correction. You'll get the wrong measurement if you're trying to add two moves in one Fibonacci. Might sound confusing, but that is the way that you're going to do it. The best way to do it, I would assume, or say, that's what I've been using. So I would say now I'm going to move my structure to here, right? The reasoning why I move my structure at least to here between the 71.1 and the 78.6 is because that's where structure is. So anytime you want to place a trade or find an entry, your best bet is to find the structure, obviously in the price, and the confluence that comes within it. Meaning, if I have a trade, let's say this is my structure, and the market has broken through, you want to obviously have your higher probability idea is to enter off of that idea. But there has to be something more, right? There has to be something else telling you that, yeah, that might be the best spot to trade off of and place your entry off of. Because let's say you have the 38.2 right there as well. So now it's just not a level of structure. Now it's also your 38.2 and your level of structure. Now let's just say randomly, I know this is going to look like a weird trend line, but let's say you have a trend line there. Now you have 3 structure points telling you, oh, that might be the best price. So even with me seeing something like this, that would be the better idea. So that's why I'm identifying this level of structure and this price for USD/JPY as a potential sell. So this is where it's probably I'm going to look for sells on our auto trader. So let me go ahead and do this. Strong sell area, add to AT, auto trader. Oh, everything was already in caps. There we go. So strong sell, add to AT. Now we're in this area. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to immediately sell though, because obviously right here could be the idea. It doesn't necessarily mean it is the idea. What I would do here is now I'm going to allow the market to show me with the candlesticks, the behavior of the candlesticks across all time frames. Because I know the question is, hey, what time frame should I? It's all time frames. They all need to tell you, right? You can't just say, well, the 15-minute is telling me a sell, and all of them are telling you a buy. They all need to tell you the same thing. So right now we are nearing that 786, and we have now hit that 786, and we're starting to see just a tad bit of rejection. Obviously, no entry has been made, but this may be the better area for us to look at. So I just want to allow that to develop, see if it can give us a better idea. And if it does look like a sell, that'll be a trade that we can place while we're on this session. Just a very simple concept. Now, I'm not a big fan of this trend line, so I'm honestly really not paying attention to it as much, but it still can be a deciding factor. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If there's any specific charts you would like to take a look at as well, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you. But as of USD/JPY, we'll add this to the list because this right now is looking like a potential trade, a potential sell. Let me add this over here just so that way I can identify what I would like to see on this chart. Now, obviously, no trades on that as of yet, but that does look good. So keep that in mind that if you are looking at USD/JPY today, that's a strong sell area. Again, I will make sure that I add this analysis in the Discord for you all, so that way everybody here can obviously make the most out of their profits if in fact they do trade USD/JPY. This is exactly what I mean. And look at gold now. Oh, well, even though we didn't place that sell, but this is a good example. But this is the reasoning on why I got out of our trades right before news. Even though we were in buys, those wouldn't be working right now, in my opinion. Even USD/JPY, I didn't place a trade on that, but if I did, our entry would have been somewhere there, and look at where the market is now. So this is what I mean about just managing your trade the correct way, making sure that taking profits off the table is never a bad thing. We were just talking about that on the on our live session. Even though that continued to rip up higher for us, it's never a bad thing to take profits, and also just make sure that risk management is good. Right? It's better to just stay in the game and not give any money back to the markets than risking a big ass loss for no reason. So this is why I got out of those trades for everybody in profit. So good set. So USD/JPY looking really good so far. And again, no trades as of yet. Let me just add that, but that does look good. No trades entered yet. Oh. There we go. Oh, well, guess not. There we go. So no trades entered yet, but this right here is looking like a good area. Look at that. It's already just stuck there. It's kind of like, do I want to push up higher? Do I not? It's already, even if we look left here, it's already created a lower low now. If I get rid of this fib, because we already see what we're looking at, we can already see the break below that point. So that could be a strong idea that sellers may be taking over. So I do like this so far. So far, it's looking really good. I may answer this on the auto trader here shortly. But yeah, looks like everybody's Gucci so far. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude here in a bit. Again, I just want to make sure that I'm giving my time back to this trading community, building with just value, transparency, profits, really ensuring that if you are struggling with trading, that you at least have some type of resource, ability to ask questions and really understand how to become more consistent. I'm not perfect when it comes to trading, but I'm alright, and I could help the next person. So I really want to make sure that I could do that. Obviously, with our live sessions that are held daily in the Discord like that, those sessions alone are just helping so many people as far as especially with everybody being funded now in the futures market. There's tons of people using those sessions and getting funded, now getting withdrawals. So I just want to make sure that I can give that back to everybody. I am now looking at GJ. I know I was looking at USD/JPY as sells. We can also be looking at a potential idea here with GJ sells as well. This does look like it is creating a double top at this point. And if you can't see that, I'm looking at these areas here. Highs there, and these highs are currently being rejected by the market. So that could be a good idea for us to look for potential sells here on GJ as well. Just identifying what the market is leaving behind, the clues. Anytime you're looking at to trade, identify the clues that are being left behind, so that way you can look for a potential trade. And it's always going to be where? At price, at a level of structure, somewhere where the market has made a move from before, meaning that for some reason this strong buy just stopped dead in its tracks and sold off from there. I was like, nah, I don't think I can push from there right now. Let me attempt that again. And if it fails at that attempt to break above from here, you could definitely look at this as a double top and a sell area. So Gbpjpy is now added to the list as a potential trade. So we're going to add this real quick. If double top is completed. So if that double top here is completed, if we do have a level of respect, we can't break above this area, we start seeing bearish characteristics and bearish variant candles, I'll start looking for strong sells from this area. And again, just identifying a simple way of trading, simple concepts. You don't have to have a change of character and ICT, and all you're doing is identifying where the market has made a move from before, and then you're making a move from there again. So this is what my trade setup will look like. So if I, in a perfect world, right, in a perfect world, obviously we don't live in a perfect world, but if I can get an entry from there, my stop loss will be right above those highs. You're looking at a 25 pip stop loss, and your first take profit, I say first because obviously that can be broken, is about 62 pips. Obviously, if that's broken even further, your take profits are all the way down there, about your 245 pip take profit ultimately. So that could also be a good little setup here for GJ. And so we have two trades. GJ and USDJPY look like the best trades for the day as far as anything to enter. Those do look like the best ideas. So these are the markups. Obviously, no trades have been entered yet, but if you are looking for something, you're looking at this. So I'll make sure I add these in the Discord for everybody, just so that way you have the information. But yeah, this is it. Now I'm going to add the take profit zones where I think would be the most relevant. And as you see, my take profit zones, everything I'm doing is just structure, just price based. Nothing complicated, no guru answers, no guru trading. There's no such thing as gurus. All we're doing is just using the clues that are being left behind from the market. Just making this perfect for you guys so I can send this up to you all as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If there's anything else you guys may need, feel free to let me know. For the majority of all markets, I think gold, GJ, and USDJPY are probably the best setups that we have. So I'll make sure that I add this up for you guys in the Discord. Obviously, legacy students, I'll make sure that I add this immediately for you guys, literally right after this. But if you have anything, feel free to let me know. Let me go ahead and say this strong sell area, if double top area is completed. And if entered, these would be our take profit zones. Take profit 1. This will be take profit 2. And this will be the final take profits. And as you can see, it is just structure-based price action, identifying the more high probable areas in the market where we can find the best moves. But yeah, any questions, feel free. If not, we'll conclude for today. Catch back on first thing tomorrow morning, or if you're a legacy student, rather, definitely we're going to be trying to get on early. I want to see if we could trade the futures markets way before the stock market opens, so that way we can get a few trades in, make some money, make it a lot less risk-free. Even though we've been killing the futures market, I really want to make sure that we're not trading around that time, especially during around news, so that way we have better ideas. But yeah, seems like everybody is Gucci. These are the trade setups. Obviously, let me make sure that everybody understands there's no trade yet. Perfect. No trade has been entered. So I do want to make sure that if we do identify a trade setup, it looks exactly like this. And then there's even more take profits down there. So there you go. Not even final take profits. Bang. Take profits 3. And then final take profits all the way down here. So there you go. 300, almost 335. For your final take profits, if in fact we do enter this. Now, obviously, if you're a legacy student, you're already in the auto trader, you don't have to worry about this. I'm going to place that for you. It's completely hands-free. And I'll also, depending on which one I think is going to be the more high probable setup based on the news, whatever conditions it may end up having during this week. Like, for instance, NFP, we do have US news. It may be GJ that'll be sent up in the big lot size signals, so that way obviously you can hold this for a majority of the week and not have it be affected by any news releases as well. But yeah, seems like everybody's Gucci. If you do have anything, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude here in a second. I want to make sure I'll take one final pass through the charts very quickly to see if there's anything I can spot and see, but we should be good for the day. Definitely should be good for the day. I know, especially if you traded futures this morning with me, you are killing it. You're loving today. Today was perfect for you guys. Yeah, I'm liking some of these subs here with these yen pairs. So yeah, a lot of these yen pairs, I'll be looking for sells. I'll be looking for sells on these yen. So if you are trading any of these yen pairs for the day, look for continued downside potential. But Doesn't seem like we got anything in the chat. So with that being said, guys, we'll conclude for today. Again, if you guys can, just like the video. It helps out a lot. As I do these every day, we continuously do these. We'll be growing, and just that small little bit of help goes a long way. So I definitely appreciate it well in advance. But again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you are in the Discord, if you are a student, also feel free to hit me up at any point, whether it's the Discord or the Facebook. I got you. If you have any questions, by any means, I'm always available. But yeah, with that being said, guys, we'll conclude for today. Legacy students will catch back on first thing tomorrow morning for our future session. And then right after that, we'll be jumping on for our Forex and trade-off session. See if there's anything I can place for the signals and for the auto trader and go from there. But that being said, guys, thank you guys so much. I appreciate every last one of you guys. The more people we have on, the more likes we get, the longer these sessions will be. I'm looking to stay on for 2, 3, 4 hours if I can. Make sure everybody's profiting, everybody's getting it. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Appreciate every last one of you guys. Hopefully we continue to grow so we can stay on longer. That comes from you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you all. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, guys. You're really gonna ask me after?